Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to College Hoops Tonight. I am Austin Samuels, your host, as always. Today on College Hoops Tonight, we are doing the Bubble Watch. We're going to look at three teams in Joe Lunardi's last four in as of Friday. And we're going to pick two teams that we think are going to be in the tournament and one team that is going to be booted out by the season's end. So with that, let's hop right into it with our first team. So looking at the four teams on the last four in right now, first of all, we're going to be looking at the Oregon Ducks. This is going to be one of the teams we think are going to get into the field. The Ducks are getting hot at the right time. They were really cold to start the season. They had a couple of really bad losses, including to the University of Houston and BYU, but they've turned it around as of late, beating USC and UCLA, two top 5 ranked teams at the time. The Pac-12 is still kind of weak right now, other than UCLA, USC, and Arizona. I think Oregon kind of falls in there as that fourth seed, and they've got really good senior leadership with their guard, Will Richardson, who's averaging a solid 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists with really good percentages. Good to have that guy who can knock down the big shots in times of need. So, moving on to the second team, we've got the Florida State Seminoles from the ACC. So let's look at the Seminoles here. So the Seminoles have somewhat of an interesting resume. They're sort of getting hot at the right time as well. They've beaten the University of Miami, who's in the tournament field twice, and they beat Duke a couple weeks ago, which is a huge win. Also kind of the same as Oregon, they've got a pretty weak conference. The ACC is having a bit of a down year, and Florida State is currently in the lead for the ACC, which is kind of a big deal. So Leonard Hamilton's team plays defense like they always do. They play defense and they run. They don't necessarily have any good scores. However, defense and running and really good coaching by Leonard Hamilton, I think, is going to get Florida State into the field into the 68 teams come March. So looking at the one team of these four teams who isn't going to get into the tournament, I think, unfortunately, is going to be the TCU Horn Frogs. So looking at the Horn Frogs here, their resume is kind of lacking a little bit. They beat Oklahoma at home, as well as number 15 Iowa State last week. That was a huge win for them. They lost, obviously, to Baylor, but a lot of people have lost to Baylor. This one's so tough because TCU is in such a good conference with the Big 12. You know, they've only got 10 teams in the conference in general, but 9 teams right now are eligible because Oklahoma State's ineligible. And as of right now, 8 of the 9 are projected in. And the last one is TCU. It's just really tough. They play in maybe the toughest conference in college basketball in the Big 12. And they've got a really tough schedule remaining. They play, I think, like 8 more ranked opponents if the rankings didn't move right now, which is absolutely insane. TCU relies and plays great defense. However, they don't really have a solid leading scorer, and they don't have a super confident offense. Therefore, you got to have someone who can make buckets in the close games, in the big games. I don't think TCU builds up enough of a resume. I think they take a bunch of tough losses in a row, but I think the Horned Frogs are going to fall out of it. And with that, that is our Bubble Watch here. Those are 2 teams we think who are going to be in by March, and 1 team who, unfortunately, we're thinking is going to fall out. So we hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, subscribe and like down below. But otherwise, I'm your host, Austin Samuels, and as always, thanks for watching College Hoops Tonight. Happy Monday.